Welcome to Oh Hell No with Nicole.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Oh Hell No podcast. Today we have Sonia Lewis. She's an entrepreneur and she has a business called The Student Loan Doctor. Thank you, Sonia, for joining me on the podcast today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. So the first question that I have for you is, what was your major in college?
So my bachelor's degree was anthropology.
Mm-hmm.
My master's degree is education administration, and I'm currently finishing up my doctoral degree, higher education, adult education. So I'm still in school, and a lot of people are surprised by that, but I am finishing up. I'm in my dissertation stage, so I'm finishing up that degree as we speak.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
So what did you think you were going to be once you were done with school? Like initially when you started going for anthropology, what were your plans?
Okay, so no, I had no plans for anthropology. I just really liked the discipline, and it was a paid-for degree, so I just needed to graduate. I just understood that if I had a bachelor's degree, I would be valuable in the marketplace in terms of being a college graduate. But I really wanted to focus in on education, particularly higher education, so I started turning the wheels and my degrees in that direction if you could. So before the student loan doctor, I've always had plans of being a college president. And then that got altered and turned around, I'd say about 2.5 years ago. So totally different. I knew I'd be a CEO or president of something, but I definitely thought it would be a college.
Really? So why did that change for you?
Well, I mean, I really love what I do with the student loan doctor and the freedom around it all. And I just think that it's never to say I could never revisit it, but right now I just don't see it on my vision board anymore, just because of how the nature of this business has taken me into this new direction. But I was locked in on understanding what it would take to be a good college president. But much of those skills and much of the diplomacy that you see, I'm able to exercise in my own business.
Nice. So when you finished school, you did your bachelor's and you did your master's and now you're doing your doctorate. So did you have student loans from the master's and do you have student loans from the doctorate?
Yes. So I still have student loans from the master's and the doctorate that I'm paying on. My bachelor's degree was covered through a scholarship at Bloomsburg University. So my debt I accrue a little later in my 20s, if you will. But, luckily I understand how to get on top of it and pay it. So we're okay there. But a lot of times, in contrast, like when I meet with different clients, a lot of times a plan gets put into place way after all the degrees have been accumulated. And at that point, you kind of meet challenges like compound interest and so forth.
So before you jump into that stuff, I want to, because I'm segueing into your business. So you do have student loans. So now you have this business called the Student Loan Doctor. And how did you come up with the idea for this business?
So pretty much it started because I was on my own financial journey, helping myself with my own debt, just my general personal finances. And I took a program called Financial Peace by Dave Ramsey. And one of the things that he touched on, but didn't really go too far into helping us figure out in the course, if you will, were student loans. And because that's my professional discipline, I've been doing this work with adult learners at the college I worked for, helping them understand what payment look like once they're done school. I was able to help the people in my class understand their student loans. And I was like, oh, all you got to do is X, Y, Z, da, 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 da. And what happened at that point was I had discovered that I already knew what a lot of people didn't know, and I knew it with such ease. So it went from me helping my church to me helping the community because they started to pass me along to their friends and family members to me helping in terms of a business model. I said, oh, well, if I'm going to meet with people, I should put a price on it because I'm meeting with people back to back for free. And then I put a price on it, and then I put it myself on Instagram because I started doing talks around the city with a little lab coat on. So I kind of I wasn't taking it serious at first. I just really like, bringing some extra income in, and I knew this was my professional discipline. And then it took off by storm because social media picked it up.
Wow.
And then places and different people started to reach out to me that weren't from Philadelphia. And then I needed to figure out how to make a business out of it in the legit way.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell us, how are you helping people with their student loans?
So we help them with anywhere from repayment questions, consolidation, help I'm in default, help they're taking my income taxes or they're taking my paycheck. And so all of those questions and all of those things, we get a merit of all of it each day. No one person is the same. We offer personalized coaching per whatever the person's issue is, and we walk them through getting all of that completed. I think a lot of times people undervalue fear and shame. So when they're calling us, it's because they trust us, because they've met us via social media or through a friend or word of mouth. And they're like, you know what, these are the people that's going to help me get control of my life and my finances.
Yeah, that's amazing, because student loans are no joke. I have student loans too. So what is the most challenging part of your day-to-day?
Managing it all. Right now, I think if we would have had this conversation months ago, I probably had a different answer. But because of our recent social media exposure, our local exposure, our national exposure, all of that great stuff, it's now a challenge for me personally, having to be a CEO, having to be a brand, face of a brand, and then also still wanting to effectively serve clients. So being that I had to scale my team recently in a very quick and fast way, that was new for me, because I essentially went in 1 year from hustling to an employer of 6 in 1 year.
Wow.
And there's no book for that. Trust me, I've looked. I might have to write one. So with that quick, and I've always had business acumen, I've always been a reader, and I've gotten the information I needed. But for me personally, that's been a challenge. So day to day, every day looks different. Am I in this hour CEO and having this conversation with big brands like Verizon and BET, or, and then 1 minute am I having to do a photo shoot, or, and then the next minute I'm working with a client. So literally every hour is just a new hour. It has something totally new with it. Like I just told you, today right now is the interview, but right before that I was helping someone that was in default. So having to wear and switch the different hats, I would say, could be a challenge for me personally, but I'm really, really excited about the challenge.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. What do you enjoy the most about what you do?
I like being able to see real results. Like, this isn't fluff. These are people that are scared, nervous, but then excited, on fire about getting their finances together, because that's how I was in 2013 when I decided to go on my journey. I know what it's like to get it and like get a plan for your finances and yourself. So with that being said, I feel like that to me was the most rewarding, or is the most rewarding experience. And I'm really, really pleased by the work that we do, because the nice letters that we get, or the emails or the voicemails of people like, I'm just so glad I work with you, because now we're seeing people buy homes as a result of working with us. We're seeing people start businesses because they have unconscious permission and they don't do it. And I just like that we get to talk with everyone from everywhere in the country. There's no one typical client that we serve. The conversation, the face is so different day to day.
Yeah, I could just imagine. What are the biggest issues that you see with people with student loan debt?
Most of them just don't have a plan that they can put in place, or that they want to put in place. And a lot of them are mad that they have this debt, if you believe it or not. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are super upset with themselves, super upset that they are even having to deal with this. So I think if I could offer anything, it would be that we were made to take the class to figure this thing out. So now you have adults trying to figure this thing out, life, be a parent, all in one, and people are just upset with themselves about it.
Yeah, because sometimes too, you go to school and you have this degree and you realize that the degree that you got is not really helping you live the life you thought you were going to live, but you still have these student loans that are waiting to be paid, and
right.
I think that also could be an issue with people. It's a little discouraging. Mm-hmm. So what don't most people know about student loan debt? Is there anything that you can shed some light on that you find in your work that most people don't know?
I would say that they don't really understand how much of an impact it has on buying a home or longitude wealth. And so a lot of people are living in the right now moment when it comes to student loan debt. But really, the conversation we really ought to be having is this going to affect me from passing down a house to my children or my children's children? Are my children going to have student loans as a result of me having student loans and having a tough time or me delaying repayment? So I think a lot of times people don't understand that aspect fully. And another thing that people don't understand is that there really are programs to get this debt eliminated completely or to make this more manageable. So we're so used to seeing people running and hiding from the debt, but I would often tell them you probably shouldn't do that because you would benefit from understanding that if you enrolled in this program, you will see yourself being able to repay these loans in an affordable manner versus having them come after you or your paycheck.
Yeah. What do you think about those? For at one time, I was seeing online all these messages. Oh, get your student loan wiped out and figure out how you can get rid of it and all this stuff. Is that like a scam or is there any?
Most times it is, and I can't say for every time, but most times.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that it makes people very leery about even the work that we do because they've gotten burnt from it.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a client tell me that today. She said, I'm paying you because I've seen you on live. I know where your office is.
Right.
She said, I paid somebody before and I never heard from them again.
Oh my
I said, well, no, we have a 2-year lease. I don't plan on disappearing.
Right. That's terrible.
So people are really, really nervous about that because you get those that prey on people and their emotions and their fear.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to parents and students parents being, the people that are helping, and then the students that are graduating from high school who are looking to go to college but don't have money saved?
I think that that's a lot of parents and students that I talk to. So parents, I want to let them know that they sometimes take on the burden and have shame that they didn't help their children repay loans, pay for school. And so what happens is they will sign over their good credit or they'll add a second line or a second mortgage to their home to help their child with their student loan debt. And I just want to, shake parents sometimes and say, stop, don't do that.
Right.
Because you're now putting yourself back behind the 8 ball. You're not really helping this child. You're going to be a part of the problem ultimately. And the reality is we need to start going to school where our budget says we can go. Mm-hmm. So if we're not getting a scholarship, then we need to consider our community colleges, which are awesome 9 times out of 10 and have a lot of funding and support. We need to consider our state schools that can be affordable. Maybe someone that's middle class could help do like a cash pay option. So I think we're not thinking through enough as parents what it should look like if we send our child to X and Y, Z schools so that parents are not putting themselves back in debt or in further debt. From a child perspective.
I'm so glad you said that. I just wanted to say thank you. That's amazing what you just said because I totally agree. I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
No. And I think that's the conversation that I do fortunately get to have with a lot of parents because they're my clients first. Mm-hmm. And then well, tell me about what I should be doing. I'm like, okay, you really want to hear what I have to say? Because we're a country that like name brand things. We like name brands. So we want the best education and this and that, right? It's all cool. It's good. But here's the thing. That becomes so expensive. Why are we going to let 4 years of education ruin 30, 40 years of our lives or our child's lives?
Yep.
So we got to be careful because we start to play into the stigma of, but I want my child to have the best. Yeah, well, there's a statistic that says more millionaires, which I really am loving this statistic because I went to a state college, graduate from a state college, state university.
Yep.
So, we don't have to, and what's funny is a lot of people don't even know, I want my child to go to Harvard or Penn but those programs even say that if you as a parent do not make over $60,000, your child is eligible to go here, we'll pay for the education provided that you don't take out a student loan. So there's so many misconceptions about what a good college should look like in terms of cost. For high school students, the one thing I would give them, which I do give when I speak a lot of times, is borrowing determination should equal career compensation. So I'll say it again: borrowing determination should equal career compensation. Basically saying that if you're going to go to school and you're going to borrow 60,000, I need your first year of your program, your degree, your field to be 60,000, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Mm-hmm. Let's not borrow 60,000 when you're only expected to make 30.
Right. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yes, because that's what I was saying. Like sometimes you graduate with these degrees and you think, oh, I'm going to make this money. I'm going to be balling when I get out of school. And then you're making 30,000 and your loans are calling. You got rent and you got a car and you're broke. So, yeah, that's very, very true. That's great advice. Absolutely. And it's funny because I was going to ask you what your thoughts were about the free college that's being offered in New York State. And I think California, I don't know if any other states have it yet, but what are your thoughts about those schools?
So I think that we're going to see states get more involved in higher ed because the government is getting less involved. So it is going to be up to different states to figure out which schools can be free or subsidized. And I think it's absolutely awesome because guess what? These states want to retain college-educated students. They want college graduates to stay in their city, to stay in their state, to stay in their town. And so when you make it to where they could go outside of that window and go study at another university or college, statistically, where that person studies, they might wind up living. So I think it is a beneficial move for states that get it, that have a lot of colleges and universities. Like, for example, I'm in Philadelphia. We have so many colleges and universities in Philadelphia and the surrounding parts. Guess what? They want those graduates to stay. They want them to become home buyers, tax-paying citizens. So you better believe that I think that programs like that even more so going to pop up in cities like Philadelphia.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's great. And a lot of times too, I don't think people realize the difference between certain schools. Like when I went away, but when I went to school, I went to the New York Institute of Technology, right? I didn't realize that that's a private, institute, right? So private is more expensive than if I would have just went to like a SUNY or CUNY or something like that, So I have these ridiculous student loans that I'm paying back, and I could have gotten the same education and the same degree right here at maybe state school or something like that. So I think that, students that are going to colleges and parents, you need to really be looking at that bottom line, looking at those numbers and really making sure that it's gonna work out, that it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Do you feel like with your work and how your life has shifted and propelled you into this business that you're living your purpose and doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Oh, absolutely. It's so funny. If I reverse engineer my life, all of the training that I've received, the education I've received, the people I've encountered prepared me for this moment. So I think a lot of it is not by accident, by great design, like God's design. And I already had these skills. I was already properly equipped. I don't know everything, so I'm, very cautious to make it sound like I do. But what I understood about me and my gifts a long time ago, and I wish I could have this conversation on a larger scale with different high schoolers in particular, because this is where it starts to click, is that everything that's manifesting right now, everything that's happening, is because I was already this person. I just didn't know and understand my gifts properly. Because if I did, I would have studied business and marketing versus anthropology. I might would have taken internships to watch other CEOs. So this for me is very natural and effortlessly because I started to get me like this of me. I started to really understand this about at age 24, 25. And then something inside of me got really upset. I would get upset when I went to work because I'm like, I should be at the head of the table. I should be, or I had that thought, and so I was always a little ahead of my time, even as a younger person. So now that I'm in my stride in my 30s, now doing the work that I love on my own time with the team that I want to work with, it's by no accident. Like I was prepared for this moment. So now it's up to me to do is to just continue to self-develop my, self-develop, be my best self, and to make sure that I'm developing my team, because I don't want to be the only one that's, winning or most educated. I want everyone around me that I'm putting around me to be their best selves, because then we're going to have a bigger impact. So all this business really is for me. It's how do I impact lives on a huge magnitude, on a huge scale, with something that has been my gift. Your gift is always what's easy and effortlessly for you to do. Like, that's your gift. And I don't know. I've already asked God about it like twice. I'm like, so you gave me student loans, Jesus? but that works for me. Now, somebody else's gift might be totally different. And when we understand our gifts, it's money inside of your gifts. That's where you're going to make the most money. What's easy and effortless for you to do, and what's value and wanted in the marketplace. So once I got that down and I understood that, this whole journey became a lot easier.
Wow, that's so fascinating. I love that everything that you just said. That's what I strive for. That's why I do this podcast, because I was searching for my own gift, So it fascinates me when I speak to people and they just tell me how things manifested for them and how they realize that, hey, this is my gift, So that's amazing. Do you have any other passions that you think you will want to pursue in the future?
So this might sound really funny, but I'm going to probably tackle it at some point this year. I really want to do like one round of stand-up comedy. I think I'm funny when I'm not trying to be, and I really like it. If you're like really knowing me and I'm offline and I'm not doing my business, I really like to make jokes, and my jokes tend to be quite funny, and it's because I just probably talk about a lot of real life stuff. So probably would try that, just because it'll be for my own kicks and shenanigans. But the other thing I would really like to see happen is to create a bigger movement around the work that we're doing. I was driving the other day, and God was just really showing me some visions as to where this all was going. Mm-hmm. And I started to cry, and I'm like, I can't cry while driving. That's not safe. But then I had to cry in a bad way. I was crying in a good way, because I was like, this will be done. And sometimes when you get goals that are so big, or sometimes when you get visions that are so big, it scares you. Yeah. And when you keep getting scared like that, but you still keep operating, you're obeying God. And he won't give you anything that's easy to do. Like, so I think when I talk to a lot of people, I'm like, get over what you want to do, right? Like, he's going to give you some things that are going to stretch you, pull you, scare you. And what if I just was like, you know what, not me, I can't do it? Then this one had been birthed, because a lot of times I did get scared. A lot of times I wanted to say no or quit or go back to work, but I didn't, because I understood how clearly he was presenting things for me. So I think what this year and these next coming years will look like is that this will be a bigger platform. This will be a national brand. I will be a national expert. And in those things, to me, I'm saying it's so calm and sweet. But I don't joke anymore when I say I'll be talking to Oprah, or, Michelle and we're on first name basis in my mind. That's Michelle Obama.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Work around the country. So, and I really don't joke anymore when I say those things, because I understand who I am. And I understand what I bring to the table. And before there was a Michelle, or before there was an Oprah, it was Michelle and it was an Oprah, right? And they did these great things to become great, established, and high esteem, but they were still a Michelle and they were still just an Oprah. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's just very funny to me how, as I get closer to what I deem or see as success, and I have mentors who are millionaires and billionaires that are tangible to me, they were still just. And it was that one great idea, or those few great ideas, or the thing that made them known, that took them from just Sonia to that's Sonia, or that's Oprah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So for me, I don't even try to call what's next or what's coming up next, because all of the things that are happening in this moment that led us to this podcast interview, while I am super grateful and I'm super humbled by it all, I'm not surprised, because of the work that I've been putting in and day out. 13-hour work days are not, to be saying it for fun. It's really 13-hour work days, or there are no days off when you decide to become your own employer, or you decide to become an employer of others. You have no days off. I think yesterday I went to the movie to see Black Panther, and I felt bad I felt bad about being at the movies because I was like, I could be doing X, Y, Z right now. But I have to remember I still need, to decompress from time to time. So, yeah, so I don't really understand yet the full vision of what God is going to do, but I know it's going to be grand. So I'm mentally preparing myself for that each day.
That is, girl, you better go ahead with your bad self. I love it. So on your journey, I'm sure you've had some moments where you had to pause and say, oh, hell no. Maybe they were great moments. Maybe like you're saying, oh, hell no, I cannot believe this is all coming together or this is happening. Or for the negative, like something happened that you said, nope, I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm going to keep going. So I always ask my guests to share an oh, hell no moment with us. So what has been your oh, hell no moment?
I think when I was developing this brand, I got a lot of people that were close to me that laughed at this. And that hurt my feelings because I didn't share with them for their opinion or approval. I was just sharing, to be quite honest. And it's the same people that laugh that are on the bandwagon today. And then I don't really appreciate it, to be quite honest with you, because I remember just saying what I was up to, or I think I had got a little necklace made that said the student loan doctor, and it was abbreviated or something, and they laughed. And they were just being funny, like, girl, you is crazy. You better stay at your job, and then now to see where it's at just a year later, their jaws, their mouths have dropped open. So I think what I had to learn, and I'm glad I went through those things, is that I got to be my own cheerleader. I got to be my own support system. And I can't look for deli outside encouragement. It's not coming. Even, I would say, down to my family, I think now we're just seeing people say congratulations. But it was quiet for a minute there. So for me, what it taught me was, like, you got to wake up motivated every day for you. And what you say you were going to do for your own self, and you got to hit your own goals. And that made me really tough. This past year was a training, a boot camp, if you will. And so now when I get the praise and the, oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you. But we already knew that, Self and I. You know what I mean? So I'm not too enamored by the praise, because I needed that praise, to be very honest with you, when my checking account was looking like zero and I was on my own with this, or when I decided to hire my first person and I needed to make sure it was just on me at that point. I needed to make sure that she had money to eat, because I told her I could hire her. So, like, I needed the praise and encouragement then. I don't need it now. We good right now, Like, I don't need it today. Thank you. And so I'm trying to remain sweet and humble by it all. But I think that and when I meet people who share their goals or dreams with me, I appreciate them, and I always thank them for sharing, because I always make sure that I'm in a place to receive what they're trying to give me. Because sometimes when I meet people, they'll pour onto me something really quickly, and I can't always receive and process it. So I'm making sure that I let them know that this is probably not the best time for us to speak about your goals. We should probably talk at a later date when I have more time to, pay attention to you. And I know that sounds really harsh, but that for me is important for me to let that person know that, because what I would hate to do is give them a half response. And then that could be the difference of me helping somebody get to their next space, because it was so important when I started this business to have a few good friends, just a few. I mean, like 3 people that I could talk to about this. I mean, I talk to those 3 people every day. And if it wasn't for those 3 people, then I wouldn't have this unconscious permission to say, you know what, this is a good idea. This is a good business. I am going to do this. If it wasn't for those 3 people, I wouldn't be at this space. And so that's why it's important to surround yourself with people who dream like you dream, who travel like you want to travel, who are 2 steps ahead of you doing the things that you want to do. Because if you start talking to the people you've been around that's been doing the same thing, they don't get it. And sometimes your light is going to help them get to their next space. It may not be the other way around.
Nice. Amen. Yes. That is the best oh hell no that I've heard in a while. I like it. So tell us, how can we stay in touch with the student doctor? How can people get in touch with you, the student loan doctor? Give us all the information.
So Instagram is where all the fun happens. The Student Loan Doctor is our name on Instagram. Our website is the Student Loan Doctor LLC.com, and doctor is spelled out. We have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter. We have a YouTube where I'm uploading some of my Instagram lives. I'm a little slow when it comes to that, but I would tell people right now it's a one-woman show when it comes to Manny, the brand, the business I have employees and so forth for. But the brand piece of it, which is free exposure in terms of teachings and, we have a podcast on iTunes, that's all me. And so I'm still trying to figure out how to make all that work until I get someone to take over that. But Instagram is the best place to start. Our Instagram bio link, I update daily with different programs, events, happenings, podcasts. All of that I keep in the Instagram bio link because that's where 85% of our clients find us is through there.
Okay, that's great stuff. All right, well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure speaking with you today, and you gave us some really great advice, and I wish you well on your journey. And I hope when you blow up, you will remember the Oh Hell No podcast and come back.
I will. Please, please, please bring me back. I love to tell you how my conversation went with Michelle and Oprah.
Yes, honey. I need the details. Absolutely.
I'm speaking it, so it has to happen, right? I don't want to look like a liar. So it'll be good. It'll be good. But thank you so much for having me on today.
Yes, it was amazing.